Hunter Biden traded on his family name and his father's position for personal gain of millions, if not tens of millions of dollars. We know that. It's wrong, and it should be illegal. It may not be illegal, but it should be. And we all can agree that nobody'd buy Hunter's art for $500,000 if his last name wasn't Biden. Hunter Biden got special treatment over and over and over because of his name. Then there's Joe Biden. Somehow, after 50 years of only making a government salary, Joe Biden owns multiple multi-million-dollar mansions. There are some serious questions about the legality, you might call it, of Biden Inc. But Republicans keep getting farther, not closer, to the quid pro quo financial link between Hunter and his father. That'll teach me to try and speak Latin. Think what you want of Hunter. Think how terrible he is. What Republicans are doing is not working. They keep losing at this game. Erick Erickson's here, host of the Erick Erickson Show, author of Show Notes, the best newsletter in conservative media. I wish it came out a couple of hours earlier, but thank you for doing it. It's a great piece of the internet. Erick, this is what I can't figure out. Republicans have real issues to run on: the border, crime, the economy, and yet they keep going down this Hunter Biden dead end month after month after month. Why?
Because it's an itch they have to scratch. Donald Trump was impeached twice, so now they've got to do payback to Joe Biden, largely to placate the base. The base wants revenge. It doesn't matter that the Senate won't convict him, and actually it only matters slightly that there might not even be enough votes in the House to do it. They've just got to do it to placate the base because they told the base they would impeach Joe Biden since the Democrats impeached Trump. It's just keeping a promise that should have never been made.
All right, so what's worse, and I mean this legitimately for Republicans, trying and failing, which they might, or just saying, hey, we need to elect Donald Trump and then we're going to go investigate Joe Biden?
Honestly, I think they should go with the latter and say we need to investigate Donald Trump and investigate, because if they don't have the votes to get it through the House, and they may not with a number of the retirements of Republicans who are no longer accountable to voters, suddenly you've disaffected the base and really made them mad. Like, what's the use of a majority if you guys aren't going to do it?
At the other level, and I wonder about this, you think about Hunter Biden's finances, $10 million in legal fees, $20,000 a month in child support, a total of $750,000. He's selling his artwork. He's getting loans. Obviously, he had some very shady business dealings, on and on and on. Even Donald Trump has given up talking about Hunter on the stump. Is that because it doesn't work to motivate voters?
It doesn't. If we're a core section of Donald Trump's base, it does. But people are way more interested in the border. They're more concerned about the border. They're more concerned about the economy and Israel. They're more concerned about so many other things. It's always been a distraction for the GOP to spend so much energy going down this road.
Look, there was a moment, perhaps when the whistleblower who said there was a bribe didn't turn out to be lying, and some other things, it looked like there was a real link that you could have made between Joe and Hunter. And today, Democratic source says he admitted that he sent that message, I'm sitting here with my father, on and on. He passed off that he was high on drugs at the time. Hunter admitted to doing things that you'd certainly think got close to the smoking gun. Here is the Republicans after the interview today. Take a listen.
We've had a lot of interviews and depositions over the last 6 weeks, but with each interview, we learn more information. We find more potential evidence that needs to be obtained, more hints, more accusations that need to be investigated.
Vice President Biden used his office. His son used his father's position. They peddled that influence. It depends on what documents they have. And let's face it, the Bidens have not exactly been forthcoming in cooperating with the investigators here.
I don't know about you, Erick. You're a lawyer. I'm not. Feels like the Republicans are really trying to lower expectations.
I think they are. Behind the scenes, more and more of them say they don't actually think they've gotten what they thought they had. They might have misconstrued some information. They're trying to point towards the indictment of one of the guys who was a whistleblower by the Department of Justice, claiming that this is witness tampering, and yet even that's gotten very quiet in the last week. I think they really went in with the theory of the case that's not panning out. The election, they'll keep it up until the election and then suddenly hope people get distracted.
Huh. All right.
There's no there, but they can't stop. They've got the car by the tire now. If they let go, they'll get run over by it.
Yeah, it does seem like they're looking for an offer. Forgive me, and I think you made the point, but it feels like this could backfire on them. Almost feels unfair at some point.
It could, and it depends. Notice that they're, other than some of the wilder members, they're less and less going out about this because I do think they've seen the polling that it does make Joe Biden a sympathetic figure to have such a screwed up son. So they can't take the offer up because it alienates them from the base. All they can have is the election. You win the election, you can change the story. But until then, they decided to get in the car and drive, and they've got to keep their foot on the gas to placate members of the base who are very aggressively convinced that Joe Biden is a criminal because of what these members of Congress said. And they now can't say, oops, we were wrong, because the base will run them over.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.